Let me tell you about a specific kind of calm that most people find unsettling. It's not peace, it's not patience, it's not some enlightened state of being, it's the absence of visible anger, the smile that stays in place when others would explode, the steady voice when others would shout, the composure that never cracks, even when it should. If you never get mad, or if you know someone who never does, you understand what I'm talking about. You know what it's like to absorb insult after insult without reacting, to be treated poorly and still remain calm, to swallow frustration so completely that others assume you don't feel it at all. You know what it's like when people test you, when they push boundaries just to see if you'll finally break, when they mistake your calm for weakness and your silence for permission. You know what it's like to hear people say you're too nice, too patient, too understanding, as if these qualities are flaws, as if anger is the only appropriate response to being wronged. And you've probably wondered about yourself. Why don't I get mad like other people? Is something wrong with me? Am I repressing something dangerous? Or have I just learned to exist differently? Here's what I want you to understand. People who never get mad aren't emotionless. They're not saints. They're not superhuman. They're carrying something. A psychology shaped by experiences that taught them anger is dangerous, that expressing it costs too much, that staying calm is the only way to stay safe. And if you've ever felt guilty for not getting angry when you should, if you've ever wondered why you can't access rage even when it's justified, if you've ever been told you need to stand up for yourself more, stay here, because what you're about to understand isn't just about the absence of anger, it's about what lives underneath it, what replaced it, and what it costs to maintain that perfect, unbreakable calm. Here's something that happens in childhood for people who never get mad. They learn early that anger is unacceptable, not just discouraged, unacceptable. Maybe they grew up in a home where anger was volatile, where one person's rage dominated the household, where emotional explosions were unpredictable and terrifying, and they learned that adding more anger to an already angry environment was dangerous, so they became the calm one, the peacekeeper, the child who absorbed tension instead of creating it. Or maybe they grew up in a home where anger was forbidden entirely, where any display of frustration was met with punishment or withdrawal of love, where being good meant being pleasant, always, no matter what, and they learned that their anger made them unlovable, that expressing displeasure meant losing connection, that staying calm was the price of being accepted, or maybe their anger was simply never taken seriously. When they got upset as a child, they were told they were overreacting, being dramatic, making a big deal out of nothing, and they learned that their anger was invalid, that their feelings didn't matter, that no one would respond to their rage, so why bother expressing it? Whatever the origin, the lesson was the same. Anger is not safe. Anger is not allowed. Anger will hurt you more than it helps. So they learned to suppress it, not consciously at first, just automatically. A survival mechanism that became so ingrained it feels like personality. And now, as adults, they genuinely believe they don't get angry, that they've transcended it somehow, that they're just naturally calm people. But the anger didn't disappear, it just went underground. And it's still there, expressed in ways they don't always recognise. Here's what happens to anger when you can't express it directly. It finds other channels, other outlets, other ways to make itself known. Psychologists call this displacement. The anger is still there, but it shows up sideways, in ways that feel safer than direct confrontation. Maybe it comes out as passive aggression, the subtle dig disguised as a joke, the favour you agree to but resent, the thing you say you're fine with when you're clearly not. You're not yelling, you're not confronting, you're not openly angry, but the anger is there, leaking out in small, indirect ways. Or maybe it turns inward, becomes self-criticism, self-punishment, a harsh internal voice that attacks you instead of attacking the person who wronged you. Because it's safer to be angry at yourself than at someone else, safer to carry the blame than to place it where it belongs. Or maybe it manifests physically, tension headaches that appear out of nowhere, jaw pain from clenching your teeth, stomach problems that doctors can't quite explain, back pain that has no clear cause. Your body is holding what your mind won't express, and it's paying the price for your silence. Or maybe it comes out as depression, a flatness, a numbness, a feeling of being disconnected from everything. Because when you suppress anger long enough, you don't just lose access to rage, you lose access to all your emotions. They become muted, distant, hard to feel. The anger is still there, it's just been compressed into something that looks like nothing, something that feels like emptiness. Here's what people who never get mad have in common. They're hyper aware of other people's emotions, especially anger, because they spent their formative years monitoring the emotional temperature of the people around them, scanning for signs of anger, preparing for explosions, trying to keep everyone calm. And that hypervigilance never went away. Even now, even in safe situations, they're constantly reading the room, sensing shifts in energy, detecting anger before it fully emerges. This makes them emotionally intelligent, perceptive, able to understand people in ways others miss, but it also makes them exhausted because they're always working, always monitoring, always managing everyone else's emotions while suppressing their own. They become the person everyone comes to when they're upset, the one who listens without judgment, who absorbs other people's anger without adding to it, who makes space for everyone else's emotions because they've learned not to take up space with their own. And people love them for it. They're described as calming, grounding, easy to be around, never dramatic, never difficult. But here's what no one sees: the cost of being that person, the weight of carrying everyone else's emotional overflow while having nowhere to put your own. They're everyone's safe space, but they have no safe space for themselves. Here's the performance that people who never get mad become expert at. The performance of being fine. Someone treats them poorly, they're fine. Someone crosses a boundary, they're fine. Someone takes advantage of their kindness, they're still fine. They've mastered the art of smoothing things over, of finding the silver lining, of understanding the other person's perspective so well that their own hurt becomes irrelevant. They'll explain away the harm, make excuses for the person who wronged them, convince themselves it wasn't that bad, that they're being too sensitive, that it's not worth making a fuss. And people believe the performance because it's so convincing, so consistent, so utterly calm. But underneath is a growing collection of unprocessed hurts, small wounds that never got attention, betrayals that were swallowed, disrespect that was absorbed. Each incident might be small on its own, but together they accumulate, they pile up, they create a weight that's always there, even if no one can see it. And the person carrying this weight has become so good at the performance that they fooled themselves. They genuinely believe they're fine, that nothing bothers them, that they've moved past it, but the body remembers. The nervous system holds the score, and eventually something gives. Here's what happens when you never get mad. You lose access to your boundaries, because anger is the emotion that tells you when a boundary has been crossed. It's the internal alarm system that says this is not okay. This needs to stop. This cannot continue. But when you've learned to suppress that alarm, you can't hear it anymore. You don't know when to say no. You don't recognize when you're being mistreated. You don't realize a line has been crossed until you're miles past it. So you let people do things that should make you angry. You tolerate treatment that should be unacceptable. You allow violations that should trigger immediate response. And you do it with a smile, with understanding, with the calm that everyone has come to expect from you. People learn that they can push you, that you won't push back, that your boundaries are flexible, negotiable, essentially non-existent. And they take advantage, not always consciously, not always maliciously, but they take advantage nonetheless. because you've taught them that you'll absorb anything, that nothing is too much, that you'll always be fine. But you're not fine. You're just really good at pretending. And every boundary violation that goes unaddressed, every moment you should have gotten angry but didn't, it chips away at your sense of self, at your understanding of what you deserve, at your ability to protect yourself. Here's the relationship dynamic that people who never get mad often find themselves in. They become the emotional dumping ground. Friends come to them with every problem, every frustration, every piece of drama, because they know you'll listen, you'll be patient, you'll never get tired of hearing about it. You become the therapist friend, the one who holds space for everyone else's feelings while carefully containing your own. And it feels good at first. It feels meaningful, like you're helping, like you're needed, like your calm is a gift you're offering the world. But over time, the imbalance becomes obvious, at least to you. You're always listening, never speaking, always giving, never receiving, always there for everyone else, while no one is there for you. Because they don't know you need them. You've never shown them. You've never gotten angry, never broken down, never revealed that you're struggling too. So they assume you're fine, that you don't need support, that you're just naturally stable and don't require the same care they do. And asking for help feels impossible because you've built your entire identity around being the calm one, the one who doesn't need things, the one who's always okay. To admit you're not okay would be to shatter the image, to reveal that all this time you've been struggling too, that your calm was a construction, not a natural state. So you stay silent, you continue the performance, and the loneliness grows. Here's what people who never get mad often struggle with: asserting themselves, speaking up, claiming space in any situation. Because assertion requires a degree of healthy aggression. It requires the willingness to prioritize your needs over someone else's comfort, to say what you want even if it disappoints people. And they can't do that, because they've learnt that their needs don't matter as much as keeping the peace, that being agreeable is more important than being heard. So they stay quiet in meetings when they have something to say. They go along with plans they don't want. They let conversations move in directions they're uncomfortable with. They become invisible, not because they want to be, but because taking up space feels dangerous, feels aggressive, feels like something people who never get mad simply don't do. And this invisibility has consequences. They get passed over for opportunities. Their ideas go unheard. Their contributions get overlooked. Because in a world that rewards those who speak up, those who push, those who demand attention, their silence makes them easy to ignore. They watch others get what they want through assertiveness, through insistence, through a degree of healthy selfishness. And they wonder why they can't do the same. But they can't. Because to assert themselves would require accessing anger. The anger of being overlooked. The anger of having their needs dismissed. The anger that says I matter too. And that anger is locked away, inaccessible, buried so deep they can't reach it even when they need it most. Here's the internal experience that people who never get mad carry. A constant hum of resentment that they won't acknowledge, because they're not getting angry at specific people or specific situations. They're just carrying this low-grade frustration with everything. With themselves for not speaking up, with others for taking advantage, with the world for not recognizing what this calm costs them. But they can't name it as resentment. That would require admitting they're angry, and they're not angry. They're fine. They're always fine. So the resentment sits there, unnamed, unprocessed, growing slowly over time, and it colours everything, makes them tired in ways they can't explain, makes connection feel hollow even when it's present, makes them wonder why nothing feels quite right, even when nothing is obviously wrong. They might describe themselves as burned out, as exhausted, as needing space from people. But it's not really burnout, it's accumulated anger that has nowhere to go, years of suppressed frustration that's finally demanding attention, and still they won't call it anger, because people who never get mad don't have the language for their own rage. Here's what society does to people who never get mad. It rewards them, praises them, holds them up as models of maturity and self-control. You're so patient, so understanding, so mature, so level-headed. These compliments feel good. They reinforce the behaviour. They make the suppression seem worthwhile. But they're also a trap. Because once you're known as the person who never gets mad, that becomes your role, your identity, the thing people expect from you. And trying to change that feels like betraying who you are, like letting people down, like proving that you were a fraud all along. So you maintain it, you live up to the image, you stay calm even when calm is killing you. Because the alternative, showing anger, admitting struggle, revealing that you're human after all, feels like too much to risk. You've invested so much in this identity, you've built your relationships on it, you've defined yourself by it. To let it go would mean admitting that all this time you were performing, that the calm everyone relied on was a construction, not truth, and that feels like a loss you can't bear. Here's what happens when people who never get mad finally break, and they do break, eventually. Because no one can suppress anger forever. The break doesn't look like anger, at least not the kind people expect. It looks like withdrawal, a sudden pulling away from relationships, from situations, from everything that's required them to stay calm. It looks like numbness, an inability to feel anything, a disconnection so complete that even joy becomes inaccessible. It looks like physical collapse. The body that's been holding everything finally gives out. Illness, chronic pain, exhaustion that rest doesn't touch. Or sometimes, rarely, it does look like anger. But not proportional anger, not reasonable anger. It's an explosion that seems to come from nowhere, over something small, something that wouldn't normally matter. And everyone is shocked, because this isn't you. You don't get mad, you're the calm one. But that's the thing about suppressed anger. When it finally surfaces, it doesn't come out clean. It comes out messy, disproportionate, directed at the wrong target. Because it's not really about the small thing that triggered it. It's about everything that came before. Every boundary violation, every swallowed hurt, every moment you should have spoken but didn't. And the guilt that follows the explosion is crushing, because it confirms your worst fear, that your anger is dangerous, that you were right to suppress it all along, that letting it out causes the very harm you've spent your life trying to prevent. So you lock it back down, promise yourself you'll never lose control again, return to the calm that's slowly destroying you. Here's the truth that people who never get mad need to hear. Anger is not the enemy, suppression is. Anger is information. It tells you when something is wrong, when you're being harmed, when a boundary needs to exist or be enforced. Anger is energy. It's the fuel that allows you to protect yourself, to stand up, to say no, to change situations that aren't working. Anger is human. It's not a moral failing. It's not evidence of weakness. It's a natural response to being treated poorly. The problem isn't that you get angry. The problem is that you've learnt you can't, and that learning is costing you. It's costing you your boundaries, your voice, your ability to protect yourself, your access to your full emotional range. It's costing you relationships that could be real instead of performed. It's costing you opportunities that require assertion. It's costing you the life you could have if you weren't so busy managing everyone else's comfort. Here's what I want you to know. You are allowed to get mad. You are allowed to express displeasure. You are allowed to have boundaries and enforce them with anger if necessary. You are allowed to prioritize your needs, to say no without softening it, to be difficult when the situation calls for it. You are allowed to stop performing calm when you don't feel calm, to stop protecting everyone else from your anger while you drown in it, alone. Your anger is not dangerous. Your anger is not too much. Your anger is not proof that you're broken or bad or just like the people who hurt you. Your anger is yours, and you deserve access to it. So tonight, if you're reading this and recognizing yourself, if you've spent your whole life never getting mad while quietly accumulating hurts, know this. You are not more evolved than people who express anger. You're not more mature. You're not better, you're just more afraid, and that's okay. That fear made sense once. It protected you when you needed protection. But you're not in that situation anymore. You're not that child who needed to stay calm to stay safe. You're an adult now. And you get to choose differently. You get to learn that anger doesn't have to be explosive, that it can be firm but measured, clear but controlled, present but not destructive. You get to discover that expressing anger appropriately doesn't make you like the people who scared you. It makes you human, whole, real. You get to stop performing, stop suppressing, stop carrying everyone else's emotions while denying your own. It won't be easy. This pattern has been with you for a long time. It feels like who you are. But it's not who you are. It's what you learn to survive. And survival strategies that once saved you can become prisons if you keep them too long. You deserve to be free, to feel everything, to express what's true instead of what's acceptable. Your calm is beautiful, but not when it's costing you your voice, not when it's keeping you small, not when it's built on the suppression of something essential. So let yourself feel it, the anger you've been holding, the resentment you won't name, the frustration you've been swallowing for years. It won't destroy you, it will free you, and that freedom is worth the fear of finally letting it out.